This is from the original Bitcoin white paper, and Adam here mentioned in that, just to kind of read the actual sentence real quick. To implement a distributed timestamp server on a peer-to-peer basis, we will need to use a proof-of-work system similar to Atom Back's Hashcash rather than a newspaper reel or Usenet posts. So, Adam, question. First of all, you've been in Bitcoin since the beginning, right? What was your reaction when El Salvador made it legal tender? What has been multiple on all the other stress tests as well, like the China ban, the significant drop in hash rate, the incentives of Bitcoin coming back in, the recovery of the hash rate, of course, the 2017 fork wars. You've been through all of that. Has this been an emotional roller coaster like it has been for us plebs that got in 2016?
Yeah, I mean, it's never a dull day in Bitcoin. And I think the news, like the mainstream news, is generally quite confused. And of course, it's a complicated space. So there's a fair bit of information asymmetry, by which I mean, the mainstream media will say, oh, China's banning Bitcoin, but people who've been here for a while know that China's banned Bitcoin dozens of times. And it doesn't make that much difference, in a big picture. So in terms of price influence, I think the effect of that diminished over time to the point that, it just creates a small blip and things carry on. Yeah, it's always exciting. And, I think the anti-fragility of the network is down to individual users. It's very heartening seeing people, lots of individuals rally around protecting Bitcoin from sort of a centralization or introduction of governance. I would say generally Bitcoin doesn't have governance. It's just doing incremental technology upgrades, opt-in features, and the idea of governance is generally a elected group of bureaucrats or something who are making decisions about something, and there's no decision to make about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's digital gold, and it does its thing. Now, people are making technical improvements, but they're not changing anything about the invariance of the network. And so, I'm sure that the people who were proposing some of these forks thought they were doing the right thing to scale Bitcoin and make it available to more people, but the way they went about it was all wrong. And, obviously it's like to use the terminology that Satoshi used, I think, in the past, that it's kicking a hornet's nest, right? So if you try to force a change on a loose association of lots of Bitcoiners, of course they're going to take it badly and fight back, and that's what they did. And so I think obviously there was a lot of online discussion and arguments and different smaller companies and Bitcoin embassies and things like that saying things. And then there was a lot of it also got fought out in the market. So, it seemed like the miners had a stated intent to support the fork, but ultimately they had to, do what the market wanted, or they would have gone bankrupt within days, basically. And so, the market was the collective view of the activist investors, which is all of us. So I think that was one of the most bullish things in Bitcoin, because it kind of cemented the immutability guarantee, right? That, if you've got your full node and you've got your keys, there's pretty much nothing anybody can do to influence your ability to store and spend your coins.
So, and absolutely, and in that process, right? It's let me take it back to this question. How does it feel to be included in the white paper of a technology that is literally freeing mankind and changing the world in a way that will never be the same, and taking back the power from government and giving it back to individuals for the first time in human history? That legacy must be insane. Is that something that you ever think about?
Well, I mean, bear in mind that the Hashcash proposal was a long time ago, right? That was in 1997. And so a lot of people knew about Hashcash. And so if I'd go to technical conferences, people would see a name tag and, oh, you're the guy that invented Hashcash. And they knew about it for anti-spam reasons. So I was kind of used to being recognized by people I didn't know, like personally. And of course, there's a lot of excitement back in the sort of mid-90s about other electronic cash systems that were a bit too centralized and failed for that reason. So, of course, Bitcoin is just, that on steroids. I mean, it's just massive in comparison, right? When I say there was a lot of excitement, it was very small and nascent compared to where Bitcoin is, even if some years ago. So, yeah, because of that, I got some kind of instant name recognition and fame in the Bitcoin space. But I think, it took a while before people even acknowledged that Bitcoin uses Hashcash. When I went on the Bitcoin forum, there were lots of people arguing, no, it doesn't. And so that's fine. I mean, I think it's, the important thing is to, keep innovating for the future. Like, things that were done in the past are done. And the interesting thing is, what we can do to improve Bitcoin and accelerate hyper-Bitcoinization and make it stick.